Let's look at more options that we have on the probe setup page. We got to the screen by going to soil moisture, probe setup, click on that, and this page comes up. Now we've looked at several aspects of it. Now we're going to concentrate on this button at the back here that says more. Now before we go there, note that we have two sets of data here. We have enabled probes, so they're the ones active and collecting data. These feed disabled probes, they still exist, the data still exists, but we have shut off the feed because we've pulled the probes out of the ground, but we do not want to lose the data. So they've just, only the feed has been deactivated, but the data is still there. So let's go into more, more options, and the screen comes up. First one will send you back to where we've just been. If you have just set up a block, new telemetry, new installation, and you know that there is data out there ready to come in, you would click this button and that would bring all the data up to date. This option only works with specific telemetry types, depending on the protocol, how they work. But you can always try it. If nothing comes in, then maybe that's one of the telemetry units where it doesn't work. We can edit the readings. We can get hold of this option in a number of other ways as well. But here's one important distinction. If you're actually going to make changes to readings, and I'm going to click on edit raw readings. Remember that we get raw readings from the sensor, and this is a decagon sensor giving us roughly a percentage volume reading. We're going to calibrate those now. If you're ever going to make a change to a reading, if you're going to edit it, for instance, if I have reason to believe there should be 25 in there, if I have made that change, this is only affected the raw reading. If I want that to be a permanent reading and be part of my calibrated data set, then I would have to recalibrate the data. And that's the button down here. It really should have been part of this. So always remember, you can edit a calibrated reading and it will show up as such. This is exactly the same data, now it's calibrated. You can edit this reading, but if you then do a recalibration, it will be recalculated from the raw reading again. You might lose your edit. If you want to export this probe data, click on the button, and there is a bunch of data that you can get out of here. For instance, if you want to get the soil moisture and the temperature side by side, do that. Right now, it is just a data string. If you want it, you're going to go Control A, that'll highlight the whole page, then right click on it and copy it. And then you can go to your Excel sheet and paste it into there. Later we will add the functionality to create a CSV file for you. So let's just go back to our more options screen. Pop right out. I'm going to click on more option again. Battery history and strength history. This particular telemetry does not collect that, but if you had that, you can go and look at the detailed data just like you could look at a graph for that. And then you can make this probe the primary for the farm, which is kind of irrelevant, but let's look at this one. You can make it the primary for the probe. Now, what we mean by that is when you're looking at your probe setup sheet here, look at this for instance. We have on this block 207, we have 4 probes. There's a Hyperscalp, a Decagon, Aquacheck, and so on. And we're going to be using one of these to modulate our water balance calculations. And we can select one, and by selecting that one right there, that Y came from our more option to set that as our block primary probe. We're busy with this particular block right here. We want to want poor. If we want to just stop that telemetry feed from feeding data, that'll be a disabled feed. If we want that whole probe to stop collecting data, we'll disable it. Here's the recalculate we talked about. Delete readings. If you have a batch of readings you want to delete, go into here. Remember, we're working with that specific block. Select the date and time range that you want and hit the delete button. And then the very last one here, be very careful. Deleting that would take the probe setup, the probe data, everything related to that probe out of the system completely, and there is no